All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about a playbook, a real playbook for the modern professional woman who feels like she is just juggling everything. Because let's be real, you probably are. We're going to go way beyond just surface level tips and actually build a system to get your time and your energy back. So let's get to it.
So let me ask you this. Do you ever get to the end of the day and you are just completely wiped out, but you feel like you haven't really done anything? You've basically been running a mental marathon all day, wrestling with this massive to-do list that nobody else can even see. Sound familiar?
Well, that feeling, it has a name. It's called the mental load. And it's not just the tasks themselves. It's all the invisible work behind the tasks. It's the constant planning, scheduling, anticipating needs, remembering birthdays, and worrying about deadlines all at the same time. It's the nonstop thinking work. And here's the thing, right? You can't possibly solve a problem if you can't see it. So our first step has got to be to drag this invisible workload out into the light so we can finally name what's been draining our energy for so long. So this mental load, it has some sneaky characteristics. For starters, it's invisible. It's all happening in your head, but it leads to very real physical work. It's also completely boundaryless. It doesn't clock out at 5 p.m. It follows you home. It even wakes you up at 3 a.m. It feels never-ending, especially when you're caring for people you love. And this is a big one. It is deeply emotional. You're not just managing tasks, you're managing feelings. And look, this isn't just about feeling busy. This invisible labor has a real cost. We're talking about a direct line to more stress, more anxiety, a serious lack of sleep, and of course, a sky-high risk for complete and total burnout. It truly affects our health. Okay, so that's the problem. And yeah, it's a big one. But the good news is we can absolutely do something about it. And the solution, it doesn't start with a new planner or some fancy app. It starts with a new leadership mindset. It's all about reclaiming your power by changing how you think. You know, Sheryl Sandberg just nailed it with this one. Guilt management is as important as time management. Let that sink in. For so many of us, the single biggest thing holding us back isn't that no one will help. It's the crushing guilt we feel for even asking. So let's reframe that guilt right now. That little voice that says, I'm just burdening my team. Let's flip it. The leadership mindset says, I'm developing my team. You're not just palming off work. You're freeing yourself up to focus on high-impact strategy. And delegation does not make you look weak. Strong leaders know how to use their team's strengths. It's a sign of confidence.
Now, the other side of this mindset shift is learning to say no. And wow, it can feel impossible sometimes for some very real reasons. We're so afraid of being seen as difficult. We feel guilty, like we're not doing enough. There's this constant nagging pressure to prove our value, and a very real fear that if we say no, we'll miss a huge opportunity.
So I want you to make this your new mantra. Saying no is not selfish. It is strategic. Every time you say no to one thing, you're saying a powerful yes to something that actually matters more to you. Okay, mindset is locked in. Now it's time to become the architect of your own time. We're moving from just thinking about it to actually doing it. We're going to create a blueprint for your week that actually serves your goals instead of you just reacting to whatever the week throws at you. And the main tool we're going to use is time blocking. So instead of a to-do list that just floats around and haunts you, you give every single task a home in your calendar. You start by being ruthless about your priorities. Then you plug in the stuff you can't move, the fixed meetings and appointments. And then, and this is the magic part, you schedule specific blocks for your important work. And you got to remember step 4, review it every week. This is a living, breathing system, not a prison. But how do you decide what actually gets a time block? Easy. You use the Eisenhower Matrix. It is such a simple way to sort your tasks. If something is urgent and important, you do it now. If it's important but not urgent, like big picture planning, that's what you schedule a time block for. Urgent but not that important? Perfect. Delegate it. And if it's neither, just get rid of it. Delete. Now, if you want to take this to the next level, you can try theming your days. Basically, you dedicate each day to a certain kind of work. So maybe Mondays are for head down, deep focused work. Tuesdays are your meeting day, you just knock them all out. This is a game changer because it cuts down on all that mental energy waste switching between different kinds of tasks. So we've designed the week, we have the architecture. Now let's zoom in. How do you actually execute the plan and win the day every single day? Well, it comes down to a couple of really powerful daily tactics.
Let's talk about my absolute favorite, eat the frog. I know, the name is weird, but the idea is brilliant. You figure out what your single most important and probably most dreaded task is for the day. That's your frog, and you do it first thing. Before anything else, you just eat that frog. Get it over with, and the rest of your day feels like a piece of cake.
And here's exactly how to do it. First, you identify that frog. It's almost always the thing you want to do the least. If it feels way too big, just break it down into one small first step. Then get everything you need ready the night before so there's zero friction in the morning. And then you do it. First thing. No checking email, no scrolling social media, you just eat the frog.
Okay, but what about all the little tiny tasks that pop up? For those, we have the 2-minute rule. It is so simple. If a task comes up and you know it'll take less than 2 minutes, just do it right then and there. Seriously, it takes more mental energy to track it and come back to it later. This is how you stop the small stuff from piling up.
Okay, we have our new mindset, we have our tools, but the real goal here is to make this stick, right? To avoid burnout for good. So this last piece is all about how you create a system that's actually sustainable in the real world. And it really comes down to these 4 habits. First, self-care is not a luxury, it is a necessity, period. Second, you have to set firm boundaries, like a no email after 7 p.m. rule. Third, that weekly review we talked about, make it a non-negotiable ritual. And finally, get everything out of your head. Your brain is for having ideas, not for holding them. Use a tool, any tool, to be your external brain.
Ultimately, it all boils down to this really powerful idea. When you start to truly value your own time, when you protect it, when you prioritize it, you are teaching other people how to treat you. It commands respect.
So I'll leave you with a question to carry with you this week. Just think about it. If you were to delegate just one single task that you've been holding on to, what incredible, high-impact, exciting work could you finally have the space to begin? What could you create? Thanks for joining me for this.